So first I want to say to Sean and Dan and all the team here at Canada Pallet, really appreciate a chance to come in and talk about the #1 issue, not only in Cobourg, across Ontario, and that's jobs. And I want to commend the Canada Pallet team, admitted and standing behind me here. I mean, it's a tough market out there. Ontario's lost 300,000 manufacturing jobs. There's some pretty stiff competition. And these guys are winning contracts from all the way down to Mississippi and Alabama, across Canada and the States. And that's a great sign of the talent that we have here. I just want to see an opportunity to create even more jobs at Canada Pallet in Cobourg and across Ontario. So I'm going to focus on manufacturing. In my Ontario, we'll always build things, we'll always make things, we'll always fix things. It's a strength of our province. In fact, Ontario has always been the manufacturing heartland, not just of Canada, but of North America. Why? We got driven entrepreneurs, we got talented, hardworking people. We're close to markets in the States and Canada of hundreds of millions of people, and we're close to supply of things like wood. So why aren't we creating more jobs? Well, sadly, we've got a Liberal government and their supporters in the NDP who are more concerned about their political self-interest instead of creating more jobs. They're more interested in saving their own political paychecks instead of creating more and better paychecks for Ontarians. So these folks are working hard. Every one of them has a friend, a relative, a neighbor who's out of work, or working at a part-time job just struggling to make ends meet. I think we can turn this around. I believe Ontario's best days are ahead of us. I believe that manufacturing in Ontario can have a rebound. We can be the comeback province of Canada. Rob Milligan and I, we've planned to put Ontario back on top. But we're not going to get there by the same old Liberal-NDP policies that got us into this mess. Rob, you want to add to that?
Absolutely. Tim, I want to thank you for taking time out of your extremely busy schedule to come to Cobourg today and share with Sean and Dan and Alan and Canada Pallet team here our view of how we're going to make this province an even stronger province for all Ontarians. And you're absolutely right. And what we've heard today is that there are many barriers, whether it's red tape, cost of electricity, in the manufacturing sector, not just here in Cobourg and Northumberland in the West, but across the province. And I think we have a plan, and we're going to come out with our paper later this week. It's going to give that vision as to how we're going to make Ontario a better place.
Perfect. Manufacturing jobs. The fact that you guys have held steady is a real factor of hard work and talent that we have here. So I want to say I'm proud of that. I just want to see a chance to create more jobs. Well, there's no doubt, I think Rob would agree, the #1 issue here in Northumberland, 20 West is jobs. And, you know, I hear this everywhere I go in the province. The problem is we've got government policies, runaway hydro prices, high taxes, all these hoops that these guys have to jump through just to get something done. And then you see all that money blowing on the gas plant scandal. I mean, clearly the Liberals are putting their own political self-interest ahead of the interests of Ontarians who want a good chance at a good job or a better paying job. On Thursday, I can tell these guys this. All right, we're a bit of a preview. We're putting out our new paper. It's called Advanced Manufacturing for a Better Ontario. Rob Milligan has brought forward good ideas on how we can help manufacturing rebound in Ontario. We're putting out that plan on Thursday. I think you're going to like it. What will it do? It'll help get hydro rates under control. It'll bring taxes down, and it'll correct the attitude of government to say the business is not the enemy. We actually need you to be hiring more people. More people working, that means you have revenue coming into the treasury to pay for things like our hospitals and our schools. Let me put it this way. Energy had always been a strength for Ontario, and it's one of the reasons why we became a manufacturing machine. I mean, we were leaders not only in Canada but in North America. But under the Liberal policies of all these handouts for the wind turbines, our hydro rates are now among the most expensive in North America. Our plan, we got to get away from those subsidies, get back to basics, make sure we have affordable power so these guys can hire more people and people can actually pay their hydro bill. Well, I want our businesses that make solar panels and wind turbines to be able to compete. And you got to look to say, well, how can we sell in the States? How can we sell to other provinces? How can we sell to Europe? It's hard for them to do so when taxes are among the highest, when hydro rates for production are going through the roof, and where our red tape and runaround causes every business person to tear their hair out, waiting for that green light from bureaucrats that never arrives. Look, I think we can be competitive across businesses, whether it's pallet production, whether it's in auto parts, whether it's in renewable energy. But to get there, we need a new plan. We're putting that plan over. It is. I mean, I spend a lot of my time traveling every corner of the province, and I'm thrilled to be back in Rob's riding. We hear directly from businesses. My basic question is, what are the top 3 things you need to see to have the confidence to start hiring in Ontario again? And then we also consult with our caucus. And Rob Billigan, when I hear him talking in the legislature, he's talking about the top issues here. And I'd say usually you're in the House talking about jobs, and number 3, more jobs. I mean, it's you might want to put a bet on who's going to win the Stanley Cup. It's pretty unpredictable. The problem we have is, I think we all agree Ontario is on the wrong track, that we need to change and will actually restore hope for those who are losing hope in Ontario. But the Liberals are more interested in protecting their own self-interest. That's why hundreds of millions of your tax dollars were used to shut down gas plants that could have gone into improving highways or going to local hospitals. The challenge is the NDP, they're kind of driving the getaway car. They keep propping these guys up. I hope we do get a change in these problems, because that's the only way we get jobs back in Ontario. Well, I recognize that they're all home games for the Liberals. These are all safe Liberal seats. But I'm an optimist, and Rob, you're an optimist, otherwise we wouldn't be in this business. So we're going to keep fighting. In fact, after being here in Cobourg today, I'm heading up to Ottawa with our local candidate, Matt Young. I'll be back in London and in Toronto and Scarborough soon. And what do I say when I'm there? Well, same thing I say here. We got to get jobs back, get the province moving again, and we really can't keep propping up a government that's become corrupt. It doesn't care about Ontarians, it only cares about itself. I think that any time a politician starts taking a seat for granted, that politician is on their way out. And I think Liberals are taking Ontarians for granted these days. They keep thinking they can spend your money on whatever they want, like, closing down gas plants to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. I hope Ontarians send a strong signal these by-elections. Rob, you want to add to that?
Yeah, Mark, you can respin the old web, but it's still the same web. And, we see that with the candidate in Ottawa South for the Liberals, John Fraser, who is Mr. McGinty's right-hand man. And the team isn't changing. We have a new premier under Ms. Quinn, but we've seen the policies that she's brought in. A lot of it are very similar to what Mr. McGinty was. And she's even said in the legislature, we're proud and we're staying on the track that we've been on. And we just can't have that anymore. And I think Tim Hudak and our PC caucus have the right idea. Vision what Ontario can be again, and we're going to make sure that happens.
Look, I know times are tough here in Northumberland, Quinte West, Cobourg. We've lost a lot of jobs in Eastern Ontario. I believe we can turn this around. I'm going to fight to make Ontario the comeback province in Canada, but to do that, we're going to take a different path. One, they'll get hydro under control, we'll get taxes down, and we'll get government off the backs of business and get behind them so they can spend their time investing, creating more jobs instead of filling up useless government forms.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, just expanding on the red tape side of things. When I travel across Northumberland, Quinte West, that's the number one thing, other than energy, for the manufacturers, but from the business side of things as well. It's the red tape and over-regulation by the Liberal government. So we're going to address that.
Thank you, guys. John, hopefully answer those questions appropriately. Thank you, guys. Yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate you taking your time.